So, as you know, we've had a new baby. We never intended to use it until the end of winter. It's now December, February, March, maybe March it might come out. But anyway, I'm going to do a little job today on it. Yeah, long-term storage job, security storage job. Anyway, what do you think it's going to be? I'll be back to you in a minute. So there's the first winter quilt brought off her. There's another quilt that comes off her, right? So that's another layer off her. Okay, and here we have another sort of, oh no, this is another quilt that we've got on her. Yeah, that's under there. It's another quilt that we've got on it. Keeps her nice and warm. Ooh. Then we've got a furry blanket for the back and another furry blanket. Now ordinarily these would have probably gone in the garage as rags. You know, they come in out of fashion or whatever. Debbie decides she don't want them anymore or whatever. Never throw them away. They're such a handy cover anyway. Ooh, we've uncovered her. It's still looking absolutely fantastic. Because basically it ain't gone nowhere. It ain't gonna go anywhere. No. So anyway, let's carry on, shall we? So let's do the first little test. Let's do the first.
Need to stop messing about. Anyone on minimum wage gets a pay rise every few years.
Volume
what are you doing
down.
with the taxpayer money that's supposed to help the NHS?
Here we are.
Under Boris Johnson, there was an increase in national insurance.
Did that change yet?
Going to, we were told, sort
Goldwing, yeah. The sun's in it, isn't it? You can't see it. There we are. We're there. So let's don't touch the throttle. Don't touch nothing. Just hit the button. I expected nothing less. But you just never know. You put the key in and you think, oh, come on, I hope you haven't had any problems. Anyway, side stand, ABS, neutral, everything's good. Here's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. This protection. This is a water tank, this is. And, you know, it gets stone chipped, doesn't it? But look, somebody must have been sitting previously. We must have been sitting this on or very near this tank. Yeah. Or rubbing it somewhere, somehow lifting it, because look, this sort of, it's just like a little rubber coating, so if it does get a stone chip, it doesn't puncture this tank, which is pretty strong plastic anyway. But I'm gonna have to get something, find the tape that goes on there and tape that back up. Little job remind me that I gotta do is put some protection against a stone chip here. That's very odd, isn't it? Yeah, you see, look, it's sort of, I don't know if it's rubbing away or perishing away or 11,000 miles. Look, there's definitely somebody's been sitting or rubbing that. It's been doing something there, something odd. We'll keep an eye on that. That's okay. Yes. Let's right, okay, let's carry on. So as you can see, it sits behind the water bottle, look, in the gap, and you can actually see that it's fit, almost the space is made for it. This, you buy the Goldwing kit to fit on the lift, and the front's the same. You see, you have to get it in this gap where the crankcase splits in two, doesn't it? Well, so it sits in that gap nicely. Just nice to sit, and that's what holds it in place. Well, if you think about it, this is the right place to put it because this is where the main stand is. So it's where Honda's designed to have it lifted by, and again under there. So that's we're sitting on it now. Sometimes it can be a bit of a faff. Sometimes you get it straight away, sometimes you don't. But anyway, we'll send her up now. Well, I've got, what's that, one of them parallel lifters. One of these days we'll put her on there and see if there's a comparison. That doesn't lift it quite so high though. So there is a hole here and a hole down there. Down here, look. So if you want to, you could bring it right to the top and put a padlock through there if that's what you chose to do. Actually, I might make something. I might make some sort of a just put a shaft through here, hole and a padlock, but it doesn't really matter. It's done what it's got to do. So if you've got the stand, and whilst you've got the stand, so okay, we've got CCTV watching it, we've got an alarm system watching it, we've got the chains and the padlocks on. So we've got the chains and the padlocks doing the job, and we've got our Reggie device on it, haven't we? Just as because I know it's going to sit here now for easily 2 months, just to add to the security, and it helps not sitting on the tyres. I'm going to lock her up on her stand, yeah, so that, you know, they come prepared to break the doors open, don't they? So if your bike is in a situation where, you know, it's going to be there a while, and once they're in and once they've got the door open, they can roll it away. You can leave these in reverse. They're pretty good. There is a good security system on them anyway, because the key, the original Honda security system is good. The key has to talk to the lock. And if you were really worried, you'd put it in reverse, and of course it won't come out of reverse until the electric is back on, until the key's working. But if you can find a way of making it even more difficult, I mean, they're not going to risk, if it was a lighter bike, fine, but they're not going to risk trying to get this off there. Obviously I'll be taking the drill out of this building, putting it somewhere else, putting it next door, that sort of a thing, or put it in the house and put it in the cupboard under the stairs. It's just an added security system for your winter parking, yeah. So it's good for maintenance and cleaning and all the rest of it, but then also it's a really good part of your security armory. Obviously you wouldn't do it every time because too much of a faff, but now we know that's going to be parked up for 2 months at least. It just makes it that little bit more secure. And now, can you see, it fills, and we can still go down both sides. It's pretty good that way. Still a good path to be able to walk past it to get to the nuts and bolts. Never throw, always keep onto the quilts and the covers that the wife throws out occasionally. She goes, Reggie, do you want this? Yeah, I never say no to nothing. Everything comes to the garage and we find a use for everything. So all the little ones, and we'll throw one big cover over it now, and that should keep her. We'll keep the battery tender on her, and we'll put the little heater underneath. It's only a tube heater. It's just the price of a bulb to run, and just enough to keep the worst of the frost off, because it's only a shed after all, isn't it? It's only an outside shed. So here's something that surprised me. You know, we recently had a very, very cold spell. Oh, it was bitter for quite a few days. and the hose pipe was connected. So I thought, well, rather than everything freeze up, I'd disconnect the hose pipe. And it was frozen solid. But what also was frozen solid was the whole of this tap. The whole of this tap, it's great and it's defrosted now, you know, it's working fine now. For the winter, I'm going to leave the hose pipe off it. But it felt like there was a huge big chunk of ice inside there. I could imagine the top being quite icy, because the cold comes from the top down, doesn't it? So anyway, what I've decided to do, we had some underlay left over. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some of this underlay whilst the tank is, because I emptied what happened, I opened the tap and let the ice de-thaw, so it was completely empty. So before the rain came yesterday, and the frost has gone, I decided to let it all empty out. So I'm going to cut this into strips now and put it into there, stuff it behind here and bring it down here, so that'll have a layer of that's what I'll do. I'll empty that tap completely, so I'll have a nice bendable plastic in here. Take this weight out here and stuff some underlay in and around this, just to help it from freezing up, because I didn't think it was going to freeze up, you know. I thought there was enough volume there, but obviously if it freezes a lake, it's going to freeze a tap, isn't it? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So can you see how this loose stone is great for dealing with a puddle? We know, don't we, that there's a puddle forms here, but what I did is I covered that area in stone, so the puddle is still there, but now it's under the stone, so it makes it, you can walk here now, and the puddle will still work its way in and underneath, but you're not getting wet. Now eventually that water will seep out of here and then go out that way, and we'll make a film of that. Debbie won't be very happy with me. It's flooded the garage. But can you see now it's coming out, and it will, you can see it flowing, can't you? It's flowing under the stones, and it'll come this way. It will empty out eventually, and it'll come this way. You see it moving slowly. It'll come this way and find its way out. So rather this being big one puddly area now, the stones are just great. They're great for dealing with a patch that's puddly, and it'll find its way out now. So what I've done, basically, got some underlay, wrapped the sides of it in underlay, overlapped it here, and then got a piece of carpet which we know works very well on the lock over on the door there, and just made like a T shape, you know, just made like a T shape, and it's a flap over, so that'll be flapped over. These will be overlapped underneath it, and this will just flap over it. So hopefully once I've done the same up above and round the back of it, so that should just keep the frost. I never thought this tank was going to freeze up, but it did. So it might be frost proof, but it looks pretty ugly, doesn't it? So maybe a project for next year, because I intend to get a second one of these. When I get the two up here, maybe the next job will be to make like a wooden shed or a kennel or something, you know, make it look like a nice wooden shed around it. Maybe that might be the idea. But for now, in the middle of the winter, this will do fine.